Man, bro. When are these super teams gonna end? When? Can somebody please tell me? Bro, oh my gosh. Yo! YouTube, what is good? It's your boy, NOT. And as you guys can see right here, man, Bradley Beal is gonna be a Phoenix Sun, man. So, the Phoenix Suns have been making moves, man. They've been pretty hot since, you know, the season ended on moves being made. They fired their coach, Monty Williams. I don't think that was the best option because he did lead y'all to an NBA Finals like 2 seasons ago. But unfortunately, y'all choked. But yeah, they fired Monty Williams. I think they hired Nick Nurse. It was either Nick Nurse or Frank Vogel. I think they hired Frank Vogel. They lost Chris Paul, thank God. Get CP Trash out of there, you know what I'm saying? But either way, without Chris Paul, I still don't like the Phoenix Suns. I don't like Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns. I don't like Chris Paul and I don't like the Phoenix Suns. So yeah, man, whatever Chris Paul does, please don't come to the Clippers. Don't come to any LA team, bro. As a matter of fact, you should go ahead and start retiring. Start looking into retirement plans because, bro, your time is up, buddy. You are 37 years old. Who's gonna want a 37-year-old guy who's basically cursed? Every team he's played for, something has happened to where they haven't been able to succeed because of him. But yeah, man, back here, we got KD, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. And I don't think this was the best option. I really don't, because I don't look at Bradley Beal as a legit point guard. Ever since they had, when Washington had John Wall, what position did Bradley Beal play? Because he did not play backup point guard. He was a shooting guard. Bradley Beal at heart is a shooting guard. He is not a point guard. You guys want a legit point guard? Go get somebody similar to like a Chris Paul or something. Go get like a D'Angelo Russell or somebody and then just build like, bro, I don't think getting Bradley Beal was the best option right here. I'm sorry, I just don't think it. And then their team isn't as deep anymore, man. Their team is just not as deep. I mean, they lost Landry Shamet, they lost Chris Paul. They don't have, now that they got Bradley Beal, they don't have enough cap space to get anybody else. So really, they're gonna be working with Bradley Beal. I mean, they have a mean lineup. Don't get me wrong, they do have a mean lineup. They got Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton, and they also have what's his name? Josh Okogie. That's not a bad team. But what follows up behind that? What is the bench looking like? Because the bench is really what matters. You know what I'm saying? But I look at this situation, man. I look at this as a whole nother Brooklyn Nets situation. You know what I'm saying? Because what happened with the Brooklyn Nets was they ended up getting all these guys, all these good offensive guys. Don't get me wrong. Bradley Beal is decent on defense. He's not good on defense. Kevin Durant is not good on defense. Devin Booker is not good on defense. They're offensive guys. And they're guys that also have to have the ball. So basically, we're looking at the Brooklyn Nets all over again. But yeah, man. With all that being said, we're gonna go ahead and react to this Flight Mike video talking about this trade right here, man, and let's see if he made some of the points that I made. Let's see. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and get into it, man. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. Going on 5 minutes and 40 seconds of this intro. So yeah, man, let's go ahead and react to this Flight Mike video.
$100. Mike check 1212. What's going on, everybody? One of the strangest cases of asset management over the past 4 years has to go to the Washington Wizards. Why? Because 4 years ago, Bradley Beal was at the height of his value, the peak of his powers. You may have forgotten about this, but Bradley Beal was quite literally averaging 30.5 points per game during the 2019 to 2020 season. He was in trade rumors back then. The problem was the fact that the Washington Wizards just couldn't build a contender around it. But instead of deciding to trade Bradley Beal in the middle of his prime and trying to get a big haul in return, the Washington Wizards elected to sign him to another max contract extension. Bradley Beal would have another great season in the 2020 to 2021 season, averaging 31 points per game. And then during the 21 to 22 season and the 22 to 23 season, he started averaging about 23 points per game. He was also playing in significantly less games. Despite this, following the 2021 to 2022 season, the Wizards decided to give Bradley Beal the craziest contract in NBA history. I mean, the only contract I could really relate this to is probably like Deshaun Watson's contract in the NFL, in the sense that Bradley Beal had a down year. Despite this, the Wizards gave him a 5-year, $251 million supermax contract, which increases in value each and every year. And the icing on the cake was the fact that Bradley Beal had a no trade clause. I don't know why the Wizards decided that this was the move. I guess they didn't want to just lose him for nothing, but I would have tried to trade him back in the 2020 to 2021 season after he averaged 31 points per game. For some reason, the Wizards decided to hold on to Bradley Beal and do their absolute best to build subpar contenders around him in the form of acquiring Russell Westbrook one year. And then when Russell Westbrook didn't work out, they traded him for Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, KCP, and some assets, including
I forgot KCP was on the
Wizards. They would also bring in
man.
Spencer Dinwiddie. And when Spencer Dinwiddie didn't work out, they traded him for Kristaps Porzingis. And ultimately, through it all, the Washington Wizards were either in NBA purgatory or not making the playoffs at all whatsoever. Their hands were tied at this point. They eventually gave up. They're no longer trying to hold on to Bradley Beal, and they decided to get to work on constructing a trade that involved Bradley Beal. I said in my last video, they made a horrific mistake holding on to Bradley Beal. Just because you have a superstar on your roster doesn't necessarily mean you should do everything you possibly can to hold on to the superstar, because there are times where you can trade that superstar for assets and really hook up the future of your franchise as a result of it. My favorite example is how the Boston Celtics traded their core of Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Jason Terry to the Brooklyn Nets, and quite literally were able to rebuild their roster within a few years and make their way back to the top of the Eastern Conference.
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in that one.
2017 season. On the flip side, you have the Phoenix Suns, and ever since Matt Ishbia has acquired the Phoenix Suns, I don't know what this guy is on. I mean,
I'm sorry, man. I'm fucking. How did they end up? How did they? They couldn't even. It wasn't their chances of getting KD was okay. Yeah, of course. No, I wouldn't have thought KD would have went to that team. Out of all the teams, I would have never thought that KD would have went to the Phoenix. I heard about it. I just didn't see it as realistic. I didn't see it as realistic. And this is happening. And they turn around and they get Bradley Beal, bro. When is the super team saga gonna stop? I miss duos like Shaq and Kobe, Jordan Pippen. When are we gonna go back to the duos? Nash and Steinemeyer. Like, bro, like, come on. Kawhi and PG. When are we just gonna go back to the duos? Kyrie and Luka. When are we just gonna go back to the duos, man? Stop doing this big three stuff. I'm tired. I'm so tired of it, man. I'm so tired of it. Like, bro, haven't they already, like, dude, okay, never mind. Let's just watch the video, bro. I'm not even gonna go off.
It's so fun to watch. He's like a mad scientist on methamphetamine or something like that, because he quite literally bought the Phoenix Suns, immediately made a huge trade for Kevin Durant, where he gave up Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, 4 first-round picks, and 1 pick swap. And then after Kevin Durant had 19 games with the team, which, by the way, in every regular season game that Kevin Durant was involved in, Phoenix Suns won. The playoffs didn't necessarily bring the same amount of success. They ended up losing to the eventual champion.
Yeah, they got clapped.
But it was very clear.
I was so happy when they got clapped, man. Send that boy CP0 home.
One off season, one training camp, playing with one another, learning what to do with each other, then they are destined for success. Kevin Durant has played in a lot of offensive systems similar to Monty Williams' system. The Suns were pretty much using Kevin Durant the same exact way that he was being used with the Golden State Warriors. A very similar system as to how he was being used with the Brooklyn Nets. But immediately after losing in the 2023 playoffs, Matt Ishbia struck again. This time firing former NBA Coach of the Year and the human being that recently took the Phoenix Suns to the NBA Finals,
like, that's crazy. That's bold.
And replacing him with Frank Vogel, which I thought was very aggressive. But this is just the tip of the iceberg, because shortly after, the Phoenix Suns announced that they were going to release Chris Paul. We made a video on the fact that they were going to release Chris Paul, and then they backtracked and said, no, we're not actually releasing Chris Paul. We just want to let you guys know that we want to move on from Chris Paul. And if anyone wanted to offer us anything for Chris Paul, we'd entertain it. And what was originally thought to be a release ended up becoming a trade. And boy, is this a huge trade. Because according to Shams Charania and Adrian Wojnarowski, we got the first huge blockbuster trade of the offseason. Yesterday, Shams Charania reported that that the Washington Wizards are in serious talks with two finalists, the Miami Heat and the Phoenix Suns, on a
now that I'm thinking about it, now that I'm thinking about Blockbuster trades, you know who they could have got better than Bradley Beal? They could have messed around and picked up a guy like Zach LaVine. And I'm not saying Zach LaVine's better than Bradley Beal, but he would fit way better because for one, Zach LaVine has actually played point guard. He has good experience playing point guard. He's not gonna sit there and stat sheet stuff. Yeah, sure, he may give you 20, but bro, he's gonna share that rock too. Like, come on now. I'm just thinking, I'm over here thinking about possible trades and stuff. Now, if they would have got Damian Lillard, I would flip shit. I would flip shit. If they would have got Damian Lillard, I don't even know. I'd stop watching basketball.
Bradley Beal trade.
No, I'm just
the Suns
kidding.
had emerged as a serious threat for Bradley Beal, who holds a no trade clause. Immediately, I was thinking, the Phoenix Suns with what assets? What could you possibly give up for Bradley Beal? And then I remembered Bradley Beal's value isn't as much as you think it is. I mean, if we're being honest, it's a truly horrific contract. He's about to turn 30 years old. He's being paid a supermax contract. He's coming off of 2 seasons where he averaged 23 points per game, but that didn't stop the Phoenix Suns and Madish Bia from swinging a huge trade once again. I don't know how the Suns pulled this off, but
and Bradley Beal's kind of injury prone.
The Washington Wizards are finalizing a trade to send all-star guard Bradley Beal to the Phoenix Suns. Sources tell ESPN. Beal is waiving his no-trade clause to form a new big three with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Teams are still working through the framework, but Beal is headed to the Suns. I know what you guys are thinking, because it's exactly what I'm thinking. It's what any sane NBA fan would think after seeing a tweet such as this. Okay, this is cool, don't get me wrong, and holy crap, the Phoenix Suns just got Bradley Beal, but what did they give up for Bradley Beal exactly?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Take a load of this, because it's a clear indication of what Bradley Beal's value was and how much of a horrific mistake the Washington Wizards did just by holding on to him. The Suns are expected to send Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, multiple second-round picks, and pick swaps to the Wizards. Phoenix has no available first-round picks to trade to the Wizards. Beal's no-trade clause limited the Wizards' marketplace. Deal could take a few days to be finalized. It's so funny how the Wizards for some reason thought this was a good idea. Hey, you know what? Let's hold on to Bradley Beal as long as we possibly can and then trade him for peanuts on the dollar. My immediate thoughts here is I honestly give the Washington Wizards like a D for handling this entire situation. I mean, we're not talking about the trade now. They don't have a choice but to trade him for this right now because Bradley Beal has a no trade clause. But why not trade him when he was 26 or 27? This man has been in trade rumors for quite literally the past 4 years. I think you could have traded Bradley Beal to the Golden State Warriors, possibly for the number 2 pick in the 2020 NBA draft. I mean, you probably would have had to give up additional assets.
Oh my gosh, that would have been crazy.
Would have entertained that.
They don't even have James Wiseman
the Miami
anymore.
Heat years ago, and we do have an update for you guys on the Miami Heat as well. But for some reason, you decided to hold on to the Dogecoin way too freaking long, and instead of selling it when it was at 74 cents per Dogecoin, you're now selling it when it's at 0.062 cents. It's a cautionary tale, man. Whenever you have a player at the peak of his value, you should really take advantage of it. Portland Trailblazers. So you might be thinking, wait, Mike, what's going to go on with the Miami Heat?
Bro,
well, we're going to get to that in a sec. There's
I hope
so
they
much
get.
additional
I
news
do
as a
hope they
result
get
of this
Dame.
news that you guys have no idea. There's a reason why this video is this long. Let's address the elephant in the room. Kevin Durant has now been on the OKC Thunder that featured himself, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. Then the Golden State Warriors that featured himself, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. Then the Brooklyn Nets that featured himself, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. Then the Phoenix Suns that included himself, Devin Booker, and Chris Paul. And now, once again, the Phoenix Suns that include himself, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. I mean, this is definitely legacy altering for Kevin Durant. When you've been on this many loaded teams, you don't really have any excuses anymore. I'm really glad that he's in a situation to thrive. I just find it very comical that he once again is on a super team. It's something that we've seen over and over again.
The nigga's in every big three possible, bro.
Super teams. I personally don't believe in the philosophy of it. I don't like the idea of paying 3-star players on your roster and then filling out the rest of the roster with veteran minimum contracts. But I have to admit, it's a lot of fun to watch, so I'm all for it. We need some super teams in the NBA, and this one should be a very entertaining one. So we all know that the Washington Wizards are the big loser in this particular instance. The Phoenix Suns are just continuing their trend of just going all in and taking huge swings for star players. At the very worst, at least there's going to be an entertaining product on the floor for the Phoenix Suns. And without a doubt, the biggest winner of this situation is Bradley Beal. He still gets his super maximum contract, but he gets to play for a contender. The Western Conference is wide open, so I can see why the Phoenix Suns are being so aggressive right now. It's not nearly as competitive as it was 3 years ago, so I applaud them for their effort and for them staying consistent. But now we have to discuss how this affects the other teams in the NBA, because this one trade is affecting more than just the Washington Wizards. This one trade is affecting more than just the Phoenix Suns. For one, the Miami Heat were really trying to pursue Bradley Beal, and you have to understand how broken the Miami Heat must be at this point. They've missed out on stars in the past. They tried to trade for Donovan Mitchell last year, and they're clearly doing whatever it takes to improve their roster.
They need a point guard.
To the NBA Finals,
they need a point guard.
And obviously not being able to defend.
Like y'all don't understand. Their literal last hope for a point guard is Damian Lillard. And Damian Lillard is like a 70, like he has a 30% chance of leaving Portland. It's likely not gonna happen. So Miami Heat once again is gonna be without a good solid point guard. I mean, yeah, it's sure Kyle Lowry, but dude's 37 years old and a shell of his former self. Like, they don't have a point guard. So yeah. That's all they need is a point guard. They got the shooters, they got the big guy. Well, not the big guys. They need a good center too.
A trade for Damian Lillard. According to Crispy Haynes, Miami's focus is Portland superstar Damian Lillard, with the genuine belief that this could be the offseason. The veteran.
If you put Damian Lillard and Jimmy Butler on the same team,
tell NBA on TNT and Bleacher Report.
Filthy.
Here's the thing, guys, and we have to make this its own video because there's so much to talk about with the Miami Heat and the Damian Lillard situation. But in this particular instance, if I'm the Portland Trailblazers, I'm looking at what went down with the Washington Wizards and realizing that if I don't trade Damian Lillard this offseason, this is going to be me in the future. You're going to give up your franchise cornerstone for peanuts on the dollar, just like the Washington Wizards just did, if you don't trade away Damian Lillard and draft Scoot Henderson or draft Brandon Miller, whoever. Just don't keep Damian Lillard and trade the number.
Wait, Portland's gonna get Scoot Henderson? Oh yeah, nah, Dame, you gotta go. Dame, you gotta go.
Number 3 overall pick. It makes no sense to do that.
If that's the case,
Damian Lillard is
let Damian Lillard go.
Old. He's coming off of the best.
They're gonna get Scoot Henderson.
And right now, he's at the peak of his value, despite being 32 years old. If you don't move Damian Lillard, you're gonna end up having to attach assets to get rid of him, or trading him for pick swaps and second-round picks and role players on expiring contracts, just like the Washington Wizards did. Now, what about Chris Paul? What's gonna happen with him? Well, there's a lot of speculation here. There's actually mixed reviews here, because on one hand, there's belief that Washington is fielding offers from additional teams for Chris Paul. And this is coming to us from none other than Adrian Wojnarowski, who says part of the reason for holding up the full completion of the Washington Wizards and Phoenix Suns trade will be to allow Washington to field offers from third teams that would give Chris Paul a chance to land with a contender, sources tell ESPN. Now, what team would be interested in Chris Paul at this point? Well, the top contender so far appears to be the Los Angeles Clippers.
Bro!
According to Crispy Haynes,
we are not getting Chris Paul, bro. You are not coming back to the Clippers. You are not coming back to the Clippers. You are not coming back to the Clippers. Teams don't understand. Chris Paul, when you have Chris Paul on your team, you are cursed. You are cursed. We do not want that bad juju on our team. Come on now.
The Washington Wizards are likely to reroute Chris Paul in a trade, and the Los Angeles Clippers are expected to pursue a reunion with the future Hall of Famer.
I'm not accepting Chris Paul on my team.
You're looking at a timeline of about maybe 2 days to really figure out where
we don't even know if Russell Westbrook's still going to be on. Russell Westbrook's still going to be on the Clippers.
If you acquire Chris Paul in a trade, you're pretty much agreeing to pay him his $30 million per year annual salary, which is partially guaranteed in 2023 to 2024 and not guaranteed next year. You could also acquire him and decide to buy him out and allow him to hit the open market. So there's a lot of directions that you could go in here. If I'm the Los Angeles Clippers, I don't know what's better, Chris Paul on his $30 million partially guaranteed salary, or Russell Westbrook on a veteran minimum. Let me know in the comment section down below. We're going to keep you guys up to date on every bit of breaking news that goes down in the NBA right here on this channel. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.
Oh, I don't know, man. Chris Paul, I don't agree with that one, man. I don't think Chris Paul should come to the Clippers at all. I don't think. I don't think so. Not only because, well, for one, I don't like Chris Paul, but two, bro, he's 37, 38 years old. We're gonna be paying him $30 million a year? Bro, I would rather us keep Russell Westbrook on a veteran minimum. Bro, we were gonna do something this season if it wasn't for Kawhi and PG getting injured. Like, we were seriously that good. We were that good, and we were just starting to gel, and then that happened. Whenever Paul George went down, we just didn't know. And I had dropped a video on it, but I ended up having to take the video down. It was a good video, bro. It was such a good video. If you guys did see that video, man, that I had did, bro, that was a beautiful video. Intro was beautiful. Everything about that video was beautiful, except for, of course, you know, the Paul George whole incident. But it was a solid video. But I ended up getting a copyright, you know, for the video, and they were gonna threaten the people who owned the song that was in the video, and it was a Drake song. It was Marvin's Room. But the people who own the video, the people who own the song, I guess the record label or whatever, they were gonna hit me with a copyright strike. So they gave me like 24 hours to delete the video. So I had to delete that video. It was a good video too. I think it had in the first day. And this is usually like, this may not seem big for y'all, but this is about usually what I hit in the first day. I hit probably 100 views. Probably 90 something, 80 something views. That one had hit like 200. But yeah, man, running up on 30 minutes, boy. A 30-minute video, boy, finna have to get to chopping up and editing. I'm probably gonna have this video out by 12:30, 12 to 1, sometime around then. But yeah, man, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. We're trying to get to our goal of 1,000 subscribers whenever, but as long as we're making progress, that's all that matters. I think we're close to hitting 400. So thank you guys for all the love and the support, man. Gotta go ahead and get to chopping up this video. And yeah, man, peace. I don't see this happening. I think they're gonna be second round exits, kind of like how it was on Brooklyn. I just don't see it happening. They're literally the reincarnation of the Brooklyn Nets with the same guy, Kevin Durant. He's been on 5 different super teams. 5 different super teams. And bro still has 1 championship. Well, no, he has 2. He has 2 or 1, but either way, bro should have way more than that if you're gonna be on a super team, bro. You should have like 5, 6. Yeah, man, I don't know. But yeah, man, peace. I got no water today.